today. We're both blue.
Not easy being blue. Okay, hard to say how many people are going to join us because I forgot to put up today's reminder and also that we're on an hour earlier. So we will see. I have a feeling we're not going to get as many people because I forgot last week to remind everybody, too, that we're coming on an hour earlier. But we shall see. Oh, well, it's not quantity. It is quality. No, it's quantity.
Oh, there's Donna.
Oh, Donna's here. Hi, Donna. So I guess Donna knew that we were going to be on an hour earlier. And Marlene did too. Same to you, Marlene. Happy Thanksgiving. Yes. For our Canadian friends, it's Thanksgiving weekend. For Americans, you've still got a month to go yet. But actually, probably more like a month and a half almost before your Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And we'll just see who else is going to join us. Because coming on an hour earlier
screws things up for
probably
people.
Screws up things. Plus, when I don't put out a reminder, and I forgot to remind people last week on the live about it, and I had it written right here on top of my note, and I did not pay any attention to that, and I think I've got the wrong mics on, and I do.
Oh, so we're yapping here. And
well, no, the other one was picked up, but now the sound will be better from this. So there we go. Donna and Marlene, can you hear us okay? I just had the wrong microphone selected, but I have switched it over to the one it's supposed to be, the Yeti. Yeah, so we'll just give everybody another few seconds here, and then we'll get started. We may end a little bit earlier today. Okay, don't everybody applaud and jump up and down and go, yay, yay, yay. You're not supposed to do that. You're part of this show, too.
Oh, okay.
You know, really. They probably tune in for you, but oops, I got my microphone in the shot here. I don't want to see that. So Donna says, yes, she can hear us. Okay, great. Yeah, we're both wearing blue today. Both are Wally creations for that.
I'm wearing a boutique, and you're wearing a quilting cotton.
I'm wearing quilting cotton, and you're wearing a boutique. Ooh, brings out my eyes. Brings out the color of your eyes, too.
I need to make some more shirts. Probably some long sleeve ones.
Hi, Barb. Happy Thanksgiving to you, too. Yep, from Calgary. Wonderful. Now, there, you remembered you were coming on an hour earlier, too. And you're out in Calgary, so for you, it's even earlier than normal with that. So, because we're, 2 hours difference? Yes, 2 hours difference from Calgary to us. So, here it's just after 3, so there it's just after 1. And you can hear us fine. Okay, great. All right, well, we're going to get started. So, of course, we're on early today because we're due over at my sister's place for a family dinner for Thanksgiving. Hi, Wendy.
Hi, Wendy.
Happy Thanksgiving to you, too. And, yeah, so as I was saying, that's why we came on an hour early because we need to be over to my sister's at about 5 o'clock. So we might end a little bit earlier as well. She doesn't live that far away, but it is 20-minute, 25-minute drive or so, whatever. Hi, Andy.
Hi, Andy.
Oh, Barb, this is your first live. Well, welcome. Glad you could make it. Now, Barb, most people know this, but usually we're on every Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, not this time period. This is just a one-off this week because of, as I said, Thanksgiving. Okay, so let's get right into it. Hi, Mother.
Brenda Chauvin, hello from Maine. Sorry I missed your lives. I have had a very busy season with my Airbnb.
Oh, okay. Well, you're here now, so that's good, Brenda.
Hi, Jenny.
Why don't you get that right? How about
I don't know.
And there's Angel. Angel's here. Hi, Angel. So I guess everybody figured out that we were going to be on an hour earlier, so that's good. So what's with my mother? Well, I told you last week that there were a couple of cases of COVID on her floor, and there's scabies as well. Well, I got an email this week from the administrator, and apparently there's another case of COVID. And so that makes 3 cases. They're all supposedly contained and whatnot.
But they're all in the same area as your mother.
As my mother. Now, my mother's been double vaxxed, and I don't know if she's had the booster shot yet. I filled out a consent form for that. I guess I should call over there and find out about that. But it's not like she goes out and gallivants around with everybody and is real social, because she's not. The scabies situation apparently has been looked after. I guess they all got lathered down with this medication. My mother's 81, Barb. Um, 81 old. You know, some people might say 81 young, but not my mother. She's 81 going on about 102. And anyways, so scabies seems to be under control, which is good. But here's something that kind of irked me. So, also last week, on the heels of them telling us they had 3 cases of COVID and they're working on the scabies, they decided now that they were going to stop the virtual visits of FaceTime. Now, we've been doing since COVID, almost at the very beginning of COVID, they've had these FaceTime visitations you can do. And I quite like those because, okay, I'll be really honest about it. Going over and visiting my mother, there isn't any advantage to it. She doesn't care if we're there or not. She doesn't even care if we contact her by FaceTime. But the advantage of it is, since she won't use her phone, probably can't use it anymore, and nobody there to answer her phone because they're busy doing other things. So the FaceTime was really good because I could book a time in advance, and they knew that, and they'd be in her room. They would call me via FaceTime, and we'd connect, and they'd hold the pad up in front of her, and she didn't have to worry about knowing how to use the technology because she wouldn't know how to use the technology because a long time ago she refused not to learn how to use any kind of technology because she always said not her cup of tea. So it was good. So what I was doing lately was every other Tuesday I would do a FaceTime with her, and then on the off Tuesday we'd go over and visit her, and and make that routine. Of course, every time we got over there, to be honest, you're just staring at somebody who's laying in bed, blankets pulled up to here, and no conversation. You'd ask her questions, I'd get the same answer. I don't know.
Yeah, well, and the problem, if anybody's been on here for a while, the problem is that Stu's mother refuses to get out of bed.
Yep.
So that's part of the problem too. So.
Yeah. So anyways, I was just about to come to that as well. So I got a phone call one day halfway through the week. It was from the student nurse that was working there. So I guess they have student nurses. She just wanted me to know that she had detected, or they had found, that my mother's eye was a little bruised, and there was a slight scratch on her eyelid. And of course, basically by law, they have to notify me of any bumps, bruises, scrapes, scratches, whatever, bite marks, that my mother might be exhibiting, just to cover themselves, right? To make sure that we're not coming back and trying to accuse them of elder abuse or something like that. So I said, okay, well, thanks for letting me know. I said, I don't find this unusual for a couple of reasons. One, my mother bruises very easily. You look at my mother, she will have a bruise. She always has. She's always been that way for her whole life. Second of all, her hands and arms don't work that well because she has not much muscle anymore because she didn't do anything. So the muscles have atrophied. So in her sleep, she'll sometimes fling her arms around or whatever, and it's easy enough for her to probably hit herself in the face, or, got a finger up there somewhere. Maybe she had something in her eye and she
rubbed a little too hard.
She has claw hands. So, and so I said to her, okay, well, that may have been what she has done, but, she said it wasn't serious or anything. There was nothing really, but let me know that they had detected this. I said, okay, thank you. But while I had them on the phone, I said, okay, is she being taken down to her meals? Is she eating her meals in the dining area? Because, as Walter just said, my mother wants to be in bed all the time. And that's not a good thing. Plus, we're trying to do this experiment with a reclining wheelchair that they have, a loaner. And I said to the student nurse, asked her about this, whether they're taking her down. And she says, well, actually, we're not right now because they're quarantined, basically. So they're keeping all the residents apart from each other. I said, okay. And I said, what about the wheelchair? I said, I don't know if you know. She says, oh, yes, the reclining wheelchair. She says, no, she refuses to get into it. She doesn't want to be in it. I said, that's not a surprise to me. In fact, I told the head of physiotherapy over there, who, was going to try this all out and had this big plan and everything. I said, okay, best of luck to you. But I'll tell you this, you'll get her in the chair once, you'll get her in for about 5 minutes, and she's going to say she's going to be sick and she wants to get back into bed. And they basically have to do what my mother tells them to do. Okay, they can't force her to do anything she doesn't want to do. And even if they tried, they wouldn't win on that, because you can't force my mother to do anything. She's extremely obstinate. She's extremely stubborn. Always has been. So, and she's even worse now than when she was younger. So I told them that, but, they don't listen to me because, I'm not in healthcare. What would I know? I've said it before. I've only known my mother for 64 years. Get to know a person pretty well after that time. But anyways, yep, just as I predicted, she doesn't want to be in the chair, just wants to be in bed all the time. I have explained to my mother why this is not a good thing, what this could lead to: bed sores, infection, death, and it makes absolutely no difference. So I just have to resign myself to the fact that it is her life, and if this is how she wants to live it, then so be it. There's nothing I can do about it. Teresa says she wouldn't be the first one to get a midnight male visitor in a nursing home. Just saying.
Yeah, there is that possibility.
Yeah.
But his mother does bruise very easily. She's not on blood thinners or anything like that, but she's always been like that as long as I can remember too. And she has had a couple of incidents in the nursing home where she's tried to reach down to get something and then fell on her face.
Yeah.
Not if she's in bed, I don't know, like could be she rolled over and
I don't know if they put up railings at night for her or not.
I don't know
with it, but she could just, my mother can also get herself into physical positions in her sleep that are not normal. I don't know.
Well, I don't know how much strength she has right now, because she sits if they do put her in a regular wheelchair, she can't hold her head up.
No. We got her a pillow for that, a neck pillow. But like I said, she doesn't want to be in the chair. She doesn't want to sit
So that's why the idea of the reclining chair, because it was sort of like a mobile bed, I guess.
Yeah.
If you want to put it that, they can recline her and her head wouldn't necessarily fall
be
down
lolling all over the place and stuff like that. So, yeah. So anyways, I mean, it's a sad state. I mean, I wouldn't want to be in that. That's not existing. But it's her life. If that's what she wants to do, then fine. I do feel that she's probably starting into dementia. I have asked about this before. They've given her tests. I never get a straight answer.
Because I think after 80, almost everybody has some dementia.
Well, maybe. You're cheerful. Hi, Patsy. Barb says it's depressing going into a nursing home to visit, seeing all the other patients who are in bad shape. Yeah, but the other thing too is there are other patients in the nursing home there that are up and about, whether they be in a wheelchair or actually walking under their own steam. They're going down, they're sitting in the dining area. The dining area is really nice, and everything is set up in this new nursing home. So she has a sort of a cohort. There's about 30 people in her section. And they have it all set up really quite nice. It's not like what she came from, the old nursing home she was in, where 200 residents in one great big hall.
One great big dining room.
One great big dining room and that. And they had to take them down a couple of floors through one elevator in the place for all the meals and that. That must have been horrible for the staff. But this one...
there's a couple of guys that always say hi to us. Are residents
that are there, and everything. So yeah, there's other ones who are like kind of a thing, but what can you do? So anyways, it does depress me, but
the situation with his mother, she needs the care. So what do you do, right? And it's always been that way. Like, I mean, there was a point in time when she was in the hospital and she had this idea that she wanted to go to a retirement home. But the problem with going to a retirement home is that she needed all this extra care that the retirement homes aren't capable of doing. Well, they are sort of to a certain degree, but you have to pay extra for all of that stuff.
Yeah. But anyways, I was talking about this FaceTime business. So they have decided they were canceling that. Well, wait. they've just put them into lockdown, which means I cannot go in and see my mother. So what other way am I going to communicate with her? So I wrote to the administrator and I said, well, I'm very disappointed to hear that you are stopping the FaceTime program, because I found that really convenient. And I said, I also find it surprising that you would cancel that now, when in the same breath you said that we can't come in and visit because of COVID and everything. So I said, I hope you will rethink this plan. Well, I got a message back, and my message had been referred to one of the staff there that seems to be the person that looks after these FaceTimes, the booking and everything. And she said, no problem. She says, you just let me know when you want to do that and I can set it up. And I said to her, okay, can I set up a standing reservation? I would like to have a FaceTime visit with my mother every other Tuesday at 11 a.m. in the morning. And starting this Tuesday, October the 12th. And she said, yep, that was no problem. She could do that. So that's good. But so I gave my sister a call and let her know about the situation, because my sister was doing it. Basically, we're spelling each other off. One week I'd do FaceTime. She would go in and visit my mother. The next week I'd go in and visit my mother. And my sister would do FaceTime. But my sister didn't tend to do her FaceTimes exactly the same time every week or the same day. So I think my sister's now set it up so like I have. Yeah. So that's
the big long story. People that haven't been on here before, that Steve's mother stopped walking, and her muscles started atrophying, and then she ended up going to the hospital. And in the hospital, she was there for about 4 months, right?
Yeah.
And Steve kept saying, well, the reason she's not walking is because she doesn't want to, right? But the hospital staff wouldn't listen to him. And after it took him about 4 months to figure out that that's exactly.
Yep. They finally came to me and said, yep, you're right. There's nothing physically wrong with her.
She's not motivated.
Yeah. I told him that. My mother had a psychological problem.
And that's how it all started, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Right?
And it went downhill.
Like even when she's been in the nursing home, they've tried to encourage her. They've tried to, after she's been in the nursing home, and in the hospital, they're trying to get her up to walk, but she won't. She will
won't.
not
do
would
it.
Say, oh, well, I'm sick today. I don't want to do that.
That's her usual thing. She says she's sick.
And in the nursing home, the same thing. She says, well, I don't know why they keep trying to give me up to do physical because it won't work anyway. Yeah. That's what she said.
Yeah.
So then, she
has a very defeatist attitude.
Gotten to the point where she can get her own way with the nursing home staff if she says to them, I'm going to be sick.
Yeah. Hi, Dana. Barb said earlier, my mom was in a nursing home for about 4 months because she fell, but she was active and everything. She's back home now, sharp as a tack. Well, that's a good thing, Barb. And you said, I think that she's 87. Well, that's wonderful. Teresa says, when people our age hit the nursing home stage, we'll have wheelchair races in the hall and Bruce Springsteen blasting on the radio. You want to know something, Teresa? I would like to think that. I really would. I would like to think that
we're motivated enough to keep out of the nursing home.
But you want to know something? My mother was a relatively active woman through her whole life. When I was growing up as a kid, and after when I moved away from home, my brother and sister moved away from home. My mother was active in the church. She was doing all kinds of things. She was shopping. She loved to shop and all that kind of stuff. She drove her own car wherever she needed to go, did all that kind of stuff. And it was when my father passed away that she ended it all. And yes, I get it. It's grief. But that was 7 years ago. Okay. And yes.
She's basically gone downhill ever since, and she's not.
But she's allowed herself to go downhill, you know? And it's what we call, my mother's name is Lorna. We call it the poor Lorna syndrome. Always feeling sorry for herself. And it doesn't matter what you do for her. It's never enough. It's never good enough. That isn't anything really new in that stage because I grew up with that. There wasn't anything I could do to please my mother. Ever. So, but anyways, so Teresa, I would hope that that's the way I'm going to be at that age. But you don't know what's going to happen to you. Yeah, the mind's a weird thing. You know, so never say never, but yes, I'm hoping. Hi, Ruben. Gross Nini's definition. I'm not sure what that means, Ruben. Barb says sometimes the staff have to push the patients. They do gently, but they can only go so far. She still can give consent. Although usually they contact me, but legally, she is still the one who can give final consent for anything that affects her life.
I know that the nursing home staff usually are good at trying to convince people to do things. Like, I know my mother was reluctant when she was in nursing home to partake in things, but the staff would gently try and get her involved, and sometimes it worked. So,
well, with my mother, they do try. They have tried to gently persuade her that she might like this and do that. And when she first went in the nursing home, she did do a few things, but then she always came back and I'd ask her, so did you do this or that? Well, I tried it, but it's just not my cup of tea, is what she'd say. Or, oh, they're weird. There's this one woman or something. And she didn't, there wasn't one person in the nursing home she liked. Not one. Everybody had a fault, no matter what. So, you know, she was all her almost enemy.
And they're conspiring against her.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're all conspiring against her. She doesn't like it that they call me to keep me up to date on what's going on with her. And I said to her, Mom, they have to, for one thing. And I said, and if they weren't calling me, I'd be calling them. Because, Mom, I tell her, we want you to be comfortable. We don't want you to be in any kind of pain mentally or physically, but it doesn't matter. So Dana says, my family is so happy that our 94-year-old mother is still happy and very active. My mom is spending the weekend with 2 of my sisters and their families. See, that's great. I get inspiration from that. When I hear that somebody is 94 and still going out there and enjoying life and the whole bit, and I've heard of many people like that. I've met many people like that.
There's a guy that lives across the road from us, and he told me, I saw him out working the other day, and I knew he was old, but I didn't realize he's 95.
Hi, Judith.
And he's still doing stuff around the yard and all kinds of other stuff.
So. You know, so maybe you don't move as fast as you used to, and maybe you're not going to be doing the splits or playing hopscotch, but you know, you're still there, and I still am a great believer that you got to keep your mind going, and that means challenging yourself all the time and never sitting back and saying, oh, that's not my cup of tea. I wouldn't want to do that. I can't try that. You know, nothing ventured, nothing gained, and that's what my mother has done. My mother won't even try anything, nothing.
And that started way back before she was in a nursing home.
Yeah, that did.
Well, I don't want to know how to do that sort of thing.
I'm not interested in that. I see no reason for me to learn that. So, yeah, that's what she's like. So anyways, I find it very depressing. It does bother me a great deal. And I know I have to get a grip and just accept it for what it is. I think my sister pretty much has it accepted as that. And my brother doesn't know anything because he never answers my emails. So out of sight, out of mind for my brother. But he's in BC, so that's what he uses as his excuse. So let's move on, shall we? Let's talk about what's Walter working on. It's more like what you're working on and what's coming up.
And this week I had signed up for a course. It's a 3-day course. It's a live in-person course. There's not that many participants, so it's not like there's only about 10 students, and then the instructor and maybe a couple of people that are helping out. And it's basically a class with a sewing guru for Canada called Ron Collins, and he's a guy that he had his affiliation with Janome, but he has done patterns for male clothing, and he teaches how to do all kinds of seams and fitting. And we've got 2 sessions where 2 of the days are about fitting, making your patterns work so that the clothes become more fitted and stuff like that. So I'm kind of looking forward to doing that. But if in preparation for this class, I have to make a muslin pair of pants, and I just got the fabric last Monday, so I've been going trying to get this thing done.
Well, yeah, but you, like everything, you procrastinate.
Yeah, I tend to leave it to the last
You're like
minute.
a high school students I taught, left everything to the last minute. So, whereas I would have been done that by now.
Yeah, well, I didn't get the fabric till last Monday.
So, yeah. So, what's your excuse for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday?
Yeah, I know. Okay, sure.
Whatever. Always an excuse for you, isn't it? So that's what you've got coming up. So 3 days. Where
I'm going to be tired because I've been retired for 4 years, and it's from 9 till 5 every day.
Oh, geez, what am I going to do all day? You won't be here. I can run amok. Yeah. I can run through the house, ass bare naked, and make obscene phone calls. And
good. I'm glad I'm not here.
Let's see. Read my lips. Yeah.
I can't even come home for lunch. I gotta bring my lunch.
Oh, do you have to take lunch?
Well, either that or I have to find a place near where Club 717 is.
Oh, that's kind of like in the boonies.
Yeah, I know. It's not like there's anything really close by. There's McDonald's around Ritson Road.
Oh, but, yeah. Well, you can throw up on things. Yeah. No problem. So, with people saying here, sorry that your mom, Brenda says, is not motivated. Sounds like she never found a way to deal with her grief of losing her spouse. My husband committed suicide 2013. I totally shut down for 18 months. Well, Brenda, that is horrible. And I can understand why you would shut down for 18 months like that. And I do understand the grief thing that my mother was going through. I get that. But, lots of people lose a spouse, and over time you have to, you have to decide, I think, for yourself that, okay, life goes on. I'll always miss this person, but I'm not going to be able to bring him back by, wallowing in self-pity and in grief and everything like that. And for my mother, it was self-pity, I did have to say to her once, well, Mom, yeah, you lost a spouse, we lost a father. And my father died very suddenly. There was no warning about this.
Well, he was in failing health, and then he had just moved into a nursing home.
And he had dementia.
Facility. And he had dementia. So, but it wasn't like we saw that he was going to pass away imminently type of thing.
He just had a clean bill of health physically given to him by the doctor at the nursing home. Said, he couldn't walk, and that had to do with his dementia and some other problems that my father had, throughout his life. He had both his knees replaced, he had back problems and things like that, because of what he did for his livelihood and things like that. It took a real toll on his body, but his heart, his lungs, his liver, everything like that was all fine. And so, he died in his sleep. The way to go. But anyways, I don't want to dwell on that. Cheryl says, I'm a major procrastinator, forces my creativity. Okay, that's one way to, to be positive about that. See, I am not a procrastinator, usually.
I usually procrastinate about everything.
I can get off, like, be diverted, at times distracted. That's it, squirrel. But no, but that's because I was a teacher. I mean, I couldn't procrastinate as a teacher. I had to get things done. So that's why. I find when I buy fabric, I don't want to cut it. Is that weird? No,
I've got the same thing.
Yep.
I go, I'll pull out something for a bag or something, and I'll, I really like that fabric. I don't know if I want to cut it.
Yeah. Well, here, Barb, there's my fabric collection, and drawers in this down here are all filled up with it as well. And these are, the lighting's not so good at the moment right there to see it, but it's too pretty. I haven't cut into it yet. I collect fabric. It's only been lately that I have actually slowed down on buying fabric, because I'm starting to become a hoarder with fabric. But that's just life.
Yeah, you say you lost your parents. They died 2 days, but that's not uncommon for people that have been together for a long period of time to die apart from each other, or a couple of days apart. My grandparents were the same way. I think they died within 4 days of each other.
Oh, well, does that mean if I go before you do, you'll die 2 days later?
No.
No, I didn't figure you would. You'll probably have
I'll
a
be
party.
partying.
Yeah, I'm sure you will be. Not unless I kill you first. Yeah, so Judith just asked how many in the class, Walter?
As far as I know, it's 10.
Yeah.
There's actually 3. The thing is, it's 3 different classes. I'm taking all 3 classes. However, there is options for people to take 1 or 2 classes or all 3. So there might be different people on different days.
Teresa says, my dad's family are long-term grievers. His sisters still cry whenever they talk about their third sister. She died at 17 years in 1952. Yeah, okay. Well,
yeah, I know we know people
that
do that as well. And we know somebody that would always complain about their parents and complain. And then when they finally passed away, 5 years later, every time the date comes around, they're crying on Facebook, type of thing. So, which is really bizarre.
In some ways, okay, this doesn't sound good, but in some ways, at least a couple of these people that we know that do that kind of thing, it's more or less attention seeking.
Yeah, I would think so
for them.
Like, I mean, my parents passed away. My mom died in 2009, and my dad died in 1993. And yeah, when the dates come around, I sort of remember.
Yeah.
But it's not like I go, oh yeah, that's the day my mom died. Okay, so but it's not like I'm. I mean, I'm always sad about it, but I'm not sitting around crying type of thing.
In my opinion, that kind of grief like that is morbid.
Yeah.
It's morbid. Move on. You know,
I mean, actually, I do other things, like I'll sometimes do something and I'll think suddenly it'll trigger a memory about my dad or something like that.
But that's normal.
But
that's normal.
Yeah, it's something I think about every once.
Yeah, I think about it too. But my dad, I always remember what the date is of when my dad passed away, and that was 7 years ago. I also remember the date when the cat passed away, too. And that was more upsetting for me, but that's a story for another day. Now, so anyway, so that's what you've got planned. Well, I've been working on my Christmas quilts and using my Lucy, the long arm, and learned a few things about Lucy this week, but I'll just show you 2 of the projects very quickly. This one is going to be a gift. It's going to my hairdresser, and I'm pretty pleased with how this one turned out. It's a Christmas quilt. And the only thing about this one that I would do differently is in the center, when I put this together, we did not yet have the long arm, and I had done an applique embroidered piece in the center of these bells. And of course, when I went to long arm it, I was using a pantograph, and as opposed to doing free motion. Well, if you're using a pantograph, it's edge to edge. So that meant I kind of went over top of the applique. But the pattern I used was fairly open on the pantograph, and it really didn't disrupt the embroidered part in here. It was small enough and it fit in, so it's okay. And this is the back of the quilt. I did a pieced backing, mainly because I like wide backing, but you can't get it. Well, maybe you can in some places, but I can't get it here at Ultimate Sewing.
Christmas
fabric.
Themed.
Yeah. So I pieced it together by doing this column of flying geese that look like Christmas trees down the center, and then the other 2 on the other side. So I'm pleased with it. I'm just a little bit worried about how she might receive it, because I had planned to do this for her because she was talking about quilts, and she's not a quilter nor a sewer. And she had seen a quilt years ago in a place called St. Jacobs, which is a place west of us. That's a Mennonite community, and of course Mennonites are famous for their quilts. And she saw a quilt in a store there that she really liked, but she said it was $900, and at the time she really couldn't afford $900 to spend on a quilt. She wasn't complaining about the price because she knew that, as quilts go, they are expensive, because she knows there's a lot of work and everything that goes into them. So I think when she told me that story, I thought, okay, for Christmas, because I always give my hairdresser something at Christmas. And I thought, okay, I'll make her a quilt. So that's the quilt I made her. But last time I was in getting my hair cut, she's talking about quilts again. And I'm thinking to myself, well, you're going to get one. Yay. And it's just, well, I'm really kind of, though, I like the quilts that are done like with only 2 colors and are sort of designer. And, and I thought, oh my God. There's about 4 colors, fabrics in this thing. And it is not designer in the way she's thinking designer. So I thought, should I give it to her or shouldn't I give it to her? Well, I'm giving it to her anyways, and hell with it. At least she should be gracious enough, even if she doesn't like it, to say thank you. And, well, she doesn't have a dog, so I know it won't become a dog bed. But, once you give a quilt to somebody, it is no longer yours. It is theirs to do with what they will do. So it's a thought that counts. I'm sure she'll be appreciative of it and the whole bit. The other quilt, okay, I'm going to talk about this extensively this week on the Idiot Quilter because this just reinforces why I call myself the Idiot Quilter. Now, it looks okay. All right. This was scraps. All the scraps that were kind of left over from that quilt I just showed you, I made into this quilt. And so that's why you see blocks and the pieces are purposely uneven. That wasn't a mistake. I was making it purposely to look that way with the blocks, And then I backed it. And I had a piece together backing. Okay, this is where things were starting to go terribly wrong. Notice I have a white line, not in the center of the back. You might say, what's that white line? That white line is salvage. Now here, okay, this is why I'm an idiot. All right? Because I thought, okay, well, I'll piece those 2 pieces together. It'll be big enough, and I'll throw it on the long arm, and, it'll be done. So I pieced the 2 pieces together, and I thought I was being very clever and going, well, the salvages are very straight, and so as backing anyways, no one will know that there's salvages on the inside. And I was doing a 1/2 seam allowance as opposed to a 1/4 inch seam allowance because I like to do that if I piece for the backing just to make things a little stronger. That's my theory, and I'm sticking to it. I forgot all about the fact that, if I do that, the salvage is about 3/4 of an inch. So when I put it together and go in 1/2 inch, I am going to see salvage because I didn't cut it off. So I got it all sewed together and I looked at it and I went, crap. Now at that moment, what I should have done was, and it would have been easy, just cut the damn salvage off, sew the 2 pieces together again, and be done with it. I wouldn't even have to pick out stitches because I would just cut that piece off because there was enough extra fabric there that I could have done that. But no, I get this idea in my head going, well, wait, that would be a nice little fashion or customization. I'll have that little white stripe just go across the middle of the backing of the quilt. Now look kind of cool. Like I meant to do that. Sure, okay, fine. So I put it all up onto the long arm and I'm quilting away on it, and I forgot I needed to pull that up a little further so it would have been in the middle of the quilt, and I didn't. So it ended up in the last third of the quilt. Now it is the backing. It is a scrappy quilt, so I'm not going to cry over that because no one's getting that, okay? Although I did think it would make a nice dog bed, and we got that yappy little chihuahua next door. Maybe I could strangle it. I mean, maybe it could have it to lay in or something.
Okay, smother it to death, right?
Mamma Mia. Dog's name's Mia. Mamma Mia. Here I go again. Bark, bark. Bark, 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 bark. All the time.
You can't get near their place, and that's all you hear.
It's a really great little watchdog because anybody comes within sniffing distance, that thing's barking. Anyways, I made some other major boo-boos on that quilt, which, if you're interested on the Idiot Quilter, I will talk about them. But, did I learn some things? Oh, yeah, I learned I'm an idiot. So, anyways, so that's what I've made these last 2 weeks, and I've been working on some heads. Oh, I think my Amazon order just arrived. So on my 3D printer, I saw this thing. It's for making these wind chimes, and they're all skulls, and they come in. You make them in different sizes. So I'm making these in different colors and hang them as a Halloween decoration. It's kind of fascinating, and those of you that don't 3D print don't know what this means, but it's called print in place. These are not separate little pieces. This whole thing is printed as one piece, but it is designed in such a way that it is flexible, which I think is really cool how that works out with it. So I'm making that, and I got this idea that I should do some embroidered, freestanding lace embroidered snowflakes, and I'm going to put those as sort of a mobile or kind of thing. That's what I have in the back of my head right now. I'll show you that when I get it done at some point. But anyways, one thing always leads to another with me. So what are people saying?
You gotta scroll back. Judith was having a retreat of some sort.
Oh, okay. Let me get my thing here, and we'll scroll back. Here goes. Judith says, I'm going to have a few friends over for a mini retreat. We all got the Quilt Smart Lone Star pattern. Looking forward to it. Oh, is that the one that's pre-printed and it's like a paper piecing pattern? Is that what that one is, Judith? Because I have that one. I've had it for years and I haven't never got around to making it. I should make it, if that's the same thing. Cheryl says, your hairdresser's lucky, mine only gets a tip. St. Jacob is up the road from New Hamburg, where the Mennonite Mission quilt auction happens. They go for thousands. Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
I imagine so. Yeah, well, that's what I'm calling it, Jeannie. A customization. My new pup would love it. He's already claimed my sofa quilt almost on day one. Yeah. So, anyways, it's a throw. Maybe a throwaway. But I learned something, though. So, that, speaking of the Lucy, I have learned some more things about Lucy. Like, okay, so I'm busily doing some quilting on that first quilt, the good one that's going to the hairdresser, using the pantograph, which is, basically laser light along the design on scrolled paper on the back. And I said to Walter, there's one part on this quilt, when I come to it, the machine sort of tugs.
Yeah, it's sort of bogged down.
And I was thinking, well, maybe it's hitting a seam inside or something.
So we're checking the seams and everything else, and I can't really, it was a seam there, but it wasn't really significant.
And I mean, and there's more than one seam in a quilt, and the rest weren't giving the problem. So he discovered what my problem was.
I was looking because I at one point thought the cord might have been tugging.
Bye, Barb.
The plug-in cord might have been tugging in that spot, but no. On the edge of the track, there's a track on the edge that holds the machine and makes it glide back and forth. Well, Steve had a piece of tape he had put over top of the track, so of course every time the carriage hit the track, that portion in the track, it was dragging over top of the piece of tape.
Yeah. Okay. The machine is called Lucy, but I have a tendency to do Lucy things. Oh, Ricky! I don't know what's the matter with me. But anyway, so we figured that out. But I did have a problem with thread pickup from the bobbin and breaking thread. And of course, first thing you think of is possibly tension or whatever. I pulled the bobbin out. I looked at it. I reseated the bobbin. Well, you got to clean it. Okay, I should know this because I clean my sewing machines like regularly. After every project, I clean my machines. Okay, your machine can't be too clean. So a long arm, I would think the same thing. I looked in the book about cleaning it. It's kind of involved. They want you to do all kinds of things with canned air and WD-40 spray and then oil and then this kind of stuff. So kind of did it. Still having the problem, but after I gave it...
And lots of four-letter
yes, there was... a lot of four-letter words
and
were coming out.
The long arm's not that loud, but when he has a problem, I can hear it all the way upstairs.
And what are you saying? So, like, as if you never do.
Yeah, I know.
Anyways, Walter decided, because I'd had it, I went, frickin' $22,000 for my. And so I walked away because I was ready to take Lucy and throw her out the window. Now, I knew that it was probably something very simple, and I'm sure it was something. I also knew it was probably something that I was doing because it usually is.
Now, it does tell you in the manual that you should pretty much after every quilt do like clean the bobbin out and everything like that.
So anyways, Walter went through it, cleaned it thoroughly, following to the letter the information that was there, and it was fine. But this is what I learned this week about Lucy. Lucy is very temperamental. You got to keep her bobbin and everything very, very clean. Not only that, you have to make sure that she is threaded exactly the way she's supposed to be threaded. If you miss one little spot, like there's a couple of little things or little eyelets that come out from the side. And you think, well, okay, the thread popped out of one of those. It's not a big deal. You don't even notice it. Yeah, it is a big deal. She just will not pull up the bobbin thread if you miss one of those. Something as minor as that. They are very, very
Now, we'll probably find out more about this when we go to our first course.
Or our first class in a week's time.
A new users or new machine owners class.
Yeah.
Where we're told how to maintain it and everything else. So,
but anyways, so I have since after I finished that Christmas quilt, the first one, I cleaned it thoroughly the way you're supposed to, ran like a charm. And this morning, I have it all cleaned again, all ready to go for the next quilt. So it's there. I guess it just has to become routine. So, yeah, as Walter says, we're going to take this class in a week's time. And one of my questions is going to be, I've already started a list of questions for her, is, okay, tell us how you keep it clean. Should we do this after every quilt? Are we doing it right? We're doing what the book said to do. Whatnot. We'll find out, what we should be doing, because that's why we're taking this class that they offer, because, might as well learn from the expert. And Tracy at Whirls and Swirls is an absolute
she is an expert. In fact, that's one of the reasons we purchased from her was that we knew that there would be support if there was a problem.
Yeah. But it's a learning curve, and yes, so there'll be more tales about Lucy. I can tell you that. Now, I did order online about 8 panographs from a place called Urban Elements, and that's where Tracy gets hers from as well. I picked ones that are fairly easy to do. They have hundreds, and price isn't bad. Shipping isn't bad on them. Last I looked, they were in Chicago. So
it's a U.S. company.
Yeah, so I got to wait for them. So they're going to go to the black hole of Mississauga when they come up here, because it's going through the Postal Service. And anything that goes to Mississauga on our side of the border, well, yeah, that's a black hole. You never know, but nothing I can do about that. But anyways, we're learning, and that's important. And actually, Tracy has just started. She's doing it for 8 weeks. On Monday nights, she's doing a YouTube live about using the long arms and stuff like that. And we watched the first one this past Monday night, and that was really good. She's just a wealth of knowledge and information. Well, she's got a lot of experience with these kind of things. But anyways, we plugged on, and I'm not saying that I regret buying it, because I'm not, although there was a moment. There was a moment. But, such is life. We get around it. I'm laughing. Judith says, I'm laughing because I went through the same thing with Miss Hazel. Thread it wrong and forgot to lift the quilt up. Just fixed it and went for a coffee. And Tree says, you might have to put a swear jar beside Lucy. You could use the dollars for fabric. Yeah, true.
Well, actually, that was pretty much the only swear moment.
Yeah, that was the only one. I mean,
it's plus maybe doing... forgetting how to load it properly.
Oh yeah. I've done this twice now. I've loaded it not correctly, and I've had to take the quilt off. Luckily, I hadn't already started quilting the quilt, and then crap. Oh, actually, that's a lie. On the scrappy one, I did. I loaded it not quite right. There's one bar it has to go under. I went over. Not that it would have caused a major problem if I hadn't caught that, but I did catch it. But then that meant that I'd already started quilting on it. But I was able to back up the rollers and get it underneath, and then it wasn't the right way to do it, but it's the way I did it. And so, yeah, I got it figured out. I'm looking up in that corner by that window. There's something black sitting in it, and I'm thinking, does it have wings? Is it a bat? No, it's just the track for the blind. Okay, never mind. Teresa says, I saw Tracy's video, good stuff. And Jackie says, hi, Jackie. There are no mistakes in quilting, only learning experiences or customizations. Okay, customizations. Yeah. When I used to scrapbook and you'd make a mistake, we'd say there was no mistakes in scrapbooking. It's just an opportunity for embellishment, which meant you stuck a sticker over the part you wrecked with it. Okay, so speaking of crafting and whatnot, we had Craft and Chat this past week on Wednesday, and it was a good time, except of course, I have a different sewing room now, a new one. And of course, I have cameras all over the place in it. And I haven't done a Zoom since in this new setup. This was the first one. So Walter, being the eagle eyes that he is, other people were being polite about it, but not Walter. You're blurry. Your camera's blurry. You move over that one, you're blurry. Why are you blurry?
I don't like it when it's blurry. It annoys me.
The world doesn't spin around you.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't. You're blurry. Blurry brain. Anyways, he was right. And I was trying to fix that because I was finding it very annoying as well. And it came down to, I'm using webcams. And they're the Logitech ones. And like the C920 and then C922. Which are good cameras. Okay. But they were built for being like 6 inches away from them.
In fact, we're on one right now.
We're on one right now. We're on the C922. And it's fine for this kind of thing. But I had one set up on top of my cupboard so it looked down over my quilting space and over my other sewing machine. And it was fuzzy. And I couldn't zoom in either any closer with it. If you put it on manual zoom, it just went all blurry. So you had to be on auto zoom, but the bottom line was the focal length. How far away it can focus is very limited on those cameras. Now, Walter did some research on YouTube, on the internet, and he found that there were people taking them apart and doing like a quarter turn on the lens, and this was increasing the focus range for it, and that was solving a lot of problems for people. But it meant you had to take the damn thing apart, and they're not easy to take apart on
Plus,
purpose.
They're not particularly inexpensive.
No, they're $100.
Yeah, they're $100 webcam, and I don't know. I don't really want to screw it up.
So one guy had this, what seemed like a very innovative and ingenious idea. He bought some lenses that were meant for something to do with drones.
No. I thought it was drones, but I said it's like those virtual reality glasses, right? And they were little lenses that they put in that would do a dioptic correction like you would if you were wearing glasses. So
you're wearing cheaters.
Yeah, so if you're somebody that normally wears glasses, instead of trying to figure out how to wear your glasses with one of these things, you could buy special lenses that you could stick in there, and it would give you sort of your prescription.
So anyways, what this guy was doing was he bought a set of these. They were different strengths, and he bought them from Amazon, and I think they cost about $20 or something. And he was trying them in front of the lens of the camera. And he was showing it, and it did work. It gave you more, like you could focus in more and bring it up. I mean, bit of a makeshift idea for doing this. Well, I went looking for these lenses on the Canadian version of Amazon, and no, they did not have them. Now, I could have got them from the States, but then you've got the exchange rate, then you've got shipping from the States and all of that, and I wasn't absolutely sure that this was going to necessarily do what I wanted to do. Now, Logitech had another camera. I had seen it before. It's twice the price. They call it the Stream Cam, and it's supposed to be really good. But it didn't have any. I couldn't find specs on it telling me, well, how far away will it focus? Because I didn't want to spend $200 on the camera that was going to be the same problem as the cameras I already had. That wasn't going to solve the problem. So Walter did some more research, and you found what? That
I found on the Logitech site that it did say that it would focus between, I think, 10 centimeters and infinity on that camera, which was interesting because on all their other models, even the more expensive models, more expensive than that one, it didn't have any kind of focusing range.
No.
Right? Even on the C920 or whatever, it didn't really say what your focus depth was. But on that particular camera, it did have your focus depth on it.
So he decided that instead of ordering on Amazon, Best Buy had it on sale for about $30 less. It was about $199 on Amazon. Best Buy had it on for $169. And we have a couple of Best Buys in our area. So he went online. They said they had it in their store, and then all hell broke loose. And we'll save you the nitty-gritty details, but needless to say, Best Buy is a pain in the ass if you try to order stuff from them online in the way that it works. But we did get one. And then I realized, ooh, wait, it's got a C connection, which is the new USB standard.
USB-C.
USB-C. Sounds like a university. And so in order for me to use it on my computer, I thought I would need a adapter piece. Well, Best Buy didn't have any. And there's another place called Canada Computes, which is in our area. They didn't have any, at least they weren't showing any online in their store, but I could get them from Amazon, and it was going to take a day to get them. So, and they're not that expensive. You got a pack of 3 for like $9 or something Canadian. So I ordered them. Well, we got the camera though the day before, and then I get looking at the side of my computer and go, hey, there's a hole here. What's that for? Guess what? It's a USB.
Yeah, I'd forgotten that your computer was newer. Again, yeah.
So it doesn't matter. So now and those other things did come yesterday, and I've got them for future expansion. But I plugged in the camera, and yes, much better. So those of you that joined us for Craft and Chat, you know about the blurry thing. Well, we have solved the problem, and I can show you. This is what I'm talking about. Now it's dark over there at the moment, but you can see by my sewing machine, that is very clear, and I can zoom in on that. My camera right now is sitting on top of the large screen. When you see us looking up a little bit, we have a big, huge 40-inch screen sitting here. And it's sitting on top of that and pointed over into that area of the sewing room. And I have the lights in behind turned off because it's better lighting for what we're doing here right now. But when I'm doing zoom, that's where it'll be, and I can zoom in, zoom out. I can zoom in more onto the table if I'm cutting something, or onto me on the sewing machine. Yeah, this will solve the problem. So those of you on Craft and Chat, I will be much clearer for the next one. And those of you that weren't on Craft and Chat have no idea what I'm talking about. So be it. Okay, so what else is going on? Well, hospitals here are firing people. That's a good thing. You might not think so, but basically the hospitals have stated they have given their employees a certain date to be double vaxxed, or they're going to be put on unpaid leave, and if they still refuse to get vaccinated, they will be fired. Now you might say, well, that's not a good thing because we have a shortage of nurses. Actually, we do not have a shortage of nurses. There are all kinds of student nurses out there trying to get jobs, and they haven't been able to, so this opens up the market for them. The other reason why I don't feel sorry for these people, and it's just not nurses, it's anybody in the healthcare. Anybody in healthcare. It could be administration, it could be...
I think it includes the people that clean your toilets.
Yeah, everybody.
Anybody in the hospital.
And the thing is, if you're in healthcare and you're refusing to get vaxxed, what kind of healthcare giver are you? If you remember last week, I read that comment that was on one of my things, the one that said she was a great healthcare worker, but she was not getting vaccinated. Okay, those two things are diametrically opposed, I feel. And if you're not willing to get vaccine and you're working with sick people, well, you know what I'm going to say because I've said it before. So, yay, bully for them. The only thing that's unfortunate is this should not have been a decision by the hospitals to make. This should have been made by our government at both the provincial level looks after our healthcare in each province. They should have had the guts to say the same thing. Our federal government needs to take this as an example and turn around and say, if you are not double vaxxed, no matter what kind of job you have or what you do for a living, then you can be suspended from your job if your employer so desires. Actually, they can do that now. It's been proven. But yeah, because let's get on with it, people. We've been going through COVID for too damn long, and we're still in it because of the assholes who will not get double vaccinated. It's as simple as that. If you disagree with me, bye-bye. I have a delete button. Bye-bye. Okay? Simple as that. So, and Cheryl says we're short of Canadian nurses in Detroit.
There's something wrong about that.
Yeah, something of that is just... Okay. And Teresa says, I say send them packing. There's no reason not to be vaxxed. Exactly. Now, here's a good one, though, in the news. Our local MPP, member of provincial parliament, so not in the federal government, the provincial level, she has a medical exemption from getting
well, first of all, she lied about her vaccine status. And then now she suddenly has come up with a medical exemption. And there's two of these people in the provincial government that have medical exemptions. And the head doctor for Ontario has already said that the average amount, average for people that would qualify for a medical exemption would be 1 in 100,000. So isn't it weird that two people in a cabinet of 70 people have medical exemptions?
Yeah.
And they won't talk about it.
Nope. They won't talk about it at all. And the doctors, the bigwigs in this, have already said there's really only one or two reasons why you would have a medical exemption. One is you have a severe allergic reaction to something that's in the vaccine. And
the other is you can get, if you get, let's say, the first vaccine, and you develop a complication that gives you an enlargement of your heart. That's the other exemption that you can have. But usually that's detected after the first dose.
So, you know, well, first of all, this Lindsay Parks is her name. Besides just being a great big horse's ass.
A young lady, and I think
I think lady is probably too good for her.
And I think she's a very tree
bitch. Bitch, yeah, bitch and a tree hugger. Yeah, whatever. This is what we have leading us. I don't think. Well, I didn't vote for her because she's from the wrong party anyway. So, you know, the Canadian Republicans, known as the Conservative Party. But
that hassle, Cheryl, that hassle, isn't that part of the American government not allowing Canadians into the country from the land border crossings?
Yeah, because there's no problem with Americans coming to Canada now if you've been double vaxxed, but we can't get into the States. I'm not really complaining about that because I don't want to go to the States anyways.
Well, you can if you fly.
I don't want to go. But look at how many cases they've got. Once again, America is number one in the world. Number one country with the most cases of COVID still.
Well, Cheryl got her Pfizer booster last Sunday.
Oh, good for you, Cheryl.
Congratulations.
Yeah, we can't get it yet. We can't. I don't know if we'll ever be able to get the booster or not for a while. But anyways, that's good. But, you know, like, I have no desire to travel actually anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, as long as there's a lot of this stuff around, I'm not too keen on having to. I'd be concerned about getting stuck somewhere else.
Yeah.
Not being able to get home.
Yeah. Well, I'm just concerned about getting on a plane and regardless of what they're saying about how safe it is. And regardless of the fact that people now, like they've just declared here in Canada, that we cannot get on a plane or a train anywhere in Canada without first proving that we have been double vaxxed. And I think that's a good thing as well. So can't wait to be able to travel to Canada, Cheryl says.
Well, you can. If
you can.
Double vaxxed.
I don't recommend coming, Cheryl, right now at this point in time, though. It's not really worth the, the risk. Give it a year. We'll still be here. The country, anyways. There's a lot of it. So, come, enjoy the moose. Whatever. Or the coyotes right now. We're having a big problem with coyotes apparently.
Yeah, in
right
our
here.
area.
Yeah.
We have a lot of problems with coyotes.
They're cute little puppies. They eat your baby. The dango ate your baby. Yeah, we're having lots of trouble with the wildlife. They're just wild. And the chipmunks and the squirrels eat our tomatoes. So, they take one bite, spit them out.
Yeah, why aren't the coyotes? I guess coyotes are not a big enough chew for them.
I guess not. They could eat the squirrels. Oh, well, whatever. Or they could eat the little dog next door.
Can't catch them. Yeah, that's...
Well, I wouldn't want that.
No, I don't.
I know. I mean, I think the little dog is cute because I like animals, but it is a yappy little thing. And it won't let you touch it, so... and I'm not really sure if it is all bark and no bite.
Well, I think it's scared because everybody's bigger than it.
Well, Chihuahuas do have a bit of an inferiority complex. My grandmother had Chihuahua that used to didn't have any teeth, and it would growl at you if you got anywhere near it and everything. So,
I mean, the neighbors don't let it out.
No,
if it starts barking and they take it in right away, I don't really care that much.
No,
I mean,
I figure let it bark itself hoarse.
Yeah.
Like if we're out on our deck, say Walter's out barbecuing or something, they have.
I mean, all I have to do is open the door, and the sound of the door makes it bark.
Yeah.
It sounds just like that.
Yep.
You're doing a good imitation.
And it keeps. Well, I've heard it enough times,
yeah.
And it just keeps doing it. But they hush it up and put it in and everything. And I think, well, it's not bothering us. I mean, it's like children and women. You can turn them out if you're a man, right? So why can't you? Oops, did I say that out loud? Oops. Sorry. What I meant to say was, we can tune it out. And I have a feeling that every time he gets put in the house, it's probably thinking, there's a reason they're putting me in the house. Danger, Will Robinson. Danger. I'm going to bark every time. If after a while, it would probably just go hoarse.
Yeah.
It would probably just stop until you went, Mia, and start again. I don't know. Cheryl says, I can't wait until it isn't scary to travel. Yeah, true. We have Coyote Slow here in the city too. We have Coyote Slow. Okay, spell checker cut in. Here in the city too. Okay, so I'm assuming, Cheryl, you mean you're having a problem with coyotes too. Well, they're not afraid of people. And I guess they showed on the news, local news here, a little girl, I guess the coyote came up and bit her. And she had rabies shots. Mm-hmm. They didn't get the coyote, but, that's pretty bad. So, they're not afraid of people. So, and with kids, a kid could be out playing in a park and these things come in. They look like a dog.
Yeah, I know.
Kids and dogs. So sometimes, nice puppy. Okay, come home.
Well, apparently there's been a couple of coyotes around that have stolen a little dog for
a little snack.
Yeah.
Didn't get me. Oh well. So so that's fun. Wildlife. Yeah. Well, anyways, it's something to keep us amused. So, what else has been keeping us amused on TV? I don't think I brought this up last week, but we finished watching this one series called Midnight Mass, and it's sort of a horror thing. It's actually pretty good. You got to give it 2 episodes. Like a lot of things, you really got to give them 2 episodes to get into them. But I think that was on Netflix, wasn't it? Or was it on Prime or Apple?
That's Netflix.
Okay. And then the one we're watching right now that we're engrossed in is called Clickbait. It's on Netflix. It's pretty good. we're trying to figure out who murdered the guy that's murdered, but it is pretty good. And I don't know, we've been watching Foundation. That's on Apple. And it's Isaac Asimov, based on his book series, Foundation. It's futuristic, it's spacey, whatever, and that. I'm finding it a little hard to follow.
Well, yeah, actually,
of course, I fell asleep.
I started reading Foundation. I've finished. I'm about halfway through right now, but yet, it's actually a series of short stories.
You're reading a book?
Yeah, it's a series of short stories.
No, back up. You're reading a book?
Yeah, so I haven't.
On what?
Foundation.
Yeah,
Isaac Asimov's Foundation.
Yeah, I know.
On my computer.
Oh. Where'd you download it from?
From Amazon.
Oh.
And it's on my Kindle app. Why?
Oh, okay. I'm just like gobsmacked that you're actually reading. Wow.
But I read it years and years ago.
Wow.
And because I remember it now.
I didn't know you could.
I remember it was kind of boring. So, and yeah, but I think from the series that we're watching right now, it's condensed it a lot, and it's not. It sort of jumps around.
Well, that's often what those do. But anyways, it's okay. But that clickbait is really good.
Yeah, we're watching this clickbait, and so far it's pretty good.
Yeah, and of course the big thing now is that Squid Games, which we watch. That's Korean, but now there's products for it. Even in the 3D printing universe, there's all these masks and things you can make on your 3D printer that have to do with the Squid Games and all this kind of stuff. It's really caught on, and if you haven't seen it, watch it. It is though very violent, so one word of warning about that, but it's good.
Patsy's asking if we're taking anything to your sisters.
I asked her if she wanted me to bring anything. She said no. So yeah, we're taking some wine, and I showed you last week what I'd made for the kids. They're more or less sort of joke pieces. And I made a couple of embroidered tea towels for my sister for Thanksgiving. I don't like to go empty-handed. The only thing is I didn't get anything from my brother-in-law. Because I don't know what to get my brother-in-law, because all my brother-in-law does is work. Work all the time. So anyways, but yeah, that's what we're taking. But no, we're not taking a dish or anything. So I don't know what she'll be having for dinner, whether she'll be having turkey or
something else.
Like flank
maybe it'll be smoked.
Maybe might be smoked. Oh, well, maybe William's doing it. My nephew is gotten into sort of becoming a foodie kind of a thing, and he's got a smoker, and he's been doing different things throughout the summer, I guess. So I don't know. So it's a possibility. Who knows? It'll be fine. We don't have to cook, so that's fine. Just looking up here, Teresa said postman syndrome. Posty comes to house, dog barks, Posty leaves, dog thinks Posty left because he scared him away. He does it again and again and again. Yeah, that could be what Mia does.
Yeah, I grew up, my parents had a large dog that looked like a sheepdog. And postman would come, he just would go nuts. Bark, 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 going nuts. He'd take half the window with him. And postman would leave again, and he'd stop barking, and the next day same thing over again. One time he got out and almost bit the postman. So.
Well, you've been locked up forever. Patsy says wine for your BIL.
Brother-in-law.
Oh, brother-in-law. Yeah. Well, no, actually, he drinks beer.
He won't drink wine. He does drink wine, but he doesn't drink much of it. He prefers beer.
And I did think about going and getting some craft beers for him, but my brother-in-law is extremely picky about what he has, and I'm not sure where his tastes lie. So, no, better not. Well, there's 2 tea towels. He can have one. So, whatever out of it. But I was going to say, you were talking about the dog barking. This is why I like cats. I like dogs too, but see, somebody comes to the door, the cat's on the couch, it'll roll over, paw, and go,
unless it's
could
another
you get
cat.
Oh, well, yeah. If it's another cat, there's going to be blood. But, like Cleo, she just lay there and go, doorbell, could you get that? Really? Unless it was another cat, then she became like, yeah,
Miss Jekyll.
Oh,
Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah, she was something else. But anyways, so what else is coming up? What do we got to look forward to next week? Well, you've got a class for 3 days. I'll just be alone. I suppose that means that you'll expect me to be cooking dinner when you come home. Huh. Well, don't be expecting that. You didn't do a lot of cooking this week anyways either. Yeah.
Still got a ham to do.
Yeah, well, good. Do that tomorrow. Do that tomorrow. Yeah.
Then I have sandwich stuff.
That's right. Oh, yeah, sure. There you go. Okay, well, I think that's it. We got to go for Thanksgiving dinner. So, everybody, thanks for joining us today. We'll be back on a regular time next week. And check out my vlog tomorrow, and check out the Idiot Quilter this week, because I'm going to show you all the other idiot moves I made on that one quilt that I showed you, and talk about other things as well. And we'll have So Chatty next on Friday, and not sure what we're talking about on Friday. We're running out of ideas.
Sure we'll figure something.
If anybody's got suggestions, you hear me ask this all the time, please put them in the comments or send me an email for topics for So Chatty. And, oh, yeah, I need some people to interview. Coming up, Cheryl, who's on here. Cheryl was my latest interview. That'll go out up on Tuesday, and that was a great interview, and Cheryl is still alive. So nothing bad happened to Cheryl with an interview. So I need some other people, so don't be shy about it. I've done Jeannie. I've done Andy. Who else on here have I done? I think there's some other ones on here, and I can't think right now, but you know who you are. So let me know. I'd love to interview you. Okay? All right, so everybody have a good Thanksgiving if you're Canadian. If you're not Canadian, too bad. Sucks to be you.
We'll be wishing you happy Thanksgiving next month.
Yeah. Okay, everybody. Have a good day.